After Mom died, the dog she left for her daughter changed everything. A Toothless Hope's healing bark. When Marat became a single father after the death of his mother, life with his 8-year-old daughter Ayaru became even more difficult. Since early childhood, Ayaru had faced developmental challenges and struggled to communicate with others. Her grandmother had always been a pillar of strength for her, but now she was gone. Ayaru couldn't comprehend the loss and began retreating further into silence with each passing day. Marat tried everything: therapists, specialists, but nothing worked. One day, Marat heard about a retired service dog named Tomuk living in a shelter on the outskirts of town. Tomuk had once served in search and rescue operations, but had been injured in an accident and lost hearing in one ear. Without hesitation, Marat adopted the dog, hoping for a miracle. At first, Ayaru was afraid of the large animal. She avoided him, never reaching out. But Tomuk never forced contact. Each day, he simply laid by her side, resting his head gently on her knee in silence, just being present. Weeks passed, and then something incredible happened. Ayaru softly whispered, "Tomuk." It was the first word she had spoken in months. Marat wept, hugging his daughter tightly, silently thanking the dog 1,000 times. After that day, Ayaru slowly began to open up. She played with Tomuk, walked him, and drew pictures of him. Her speech therapist was astonished. It was the dog who had unlocked the door to the child's heart. One afternoon, while walking home from school, Ayaru found a neighbor collapsed under a tree, swollen from insect stings. She panicked at first, but watched Tomuk sniff gently and stand beside her. Taking a deep breath, Ayaru called her father and asked for help. It was her first complete social interaction on her own. This story is about destiny, the healing power of animals, and a love that speaks without words. Tomuk wasn't just a dog. He was the symbol of friendship that gave Ayaru her voice back, that reignited the light in her heart. That day, Marat realized every child deserves their own Tomuk. Ayaru's world begins to change. Ayaru's life gradually began to transform. Tomuk had unlocked the doors to her soul. Every morning she woke up hugging the dog, and before leaving for school, she kissed him gently on the head and said goodbye. Her teachers soon noticed a change. Her interest in learning had grown. She, who had never once raised her hand in class, was now answering questions and expressing her emotions through drawings. Hope was reignited in Marat's heart. He began taking his daughter to the park, the library, even to the zoo, helping her slowly reconnect with the world. And Tomuk was always there, her quiet guardian, protecting her like a loyal knight. Ayaru took photos with Tomuk and wrote stories about him in her small journal. One day she wrote, "Tomuk is my silent friend. He hears my voice." But fate had one more challenge to offer. One evening, Marat was delayed at work, and only Ayaru and Tomuk were at home. Without warning, a fire broke out in the neighboring apartment and began spreading toward theirs. Thick smoke filled the rooms. Confused and terrified, Ayaru didn't know what to do, but Tomuk, a former rescue dog, sensed the danger immediately. He pushed her toward the door, nudging her step by step, and guided her out of the smoke-filled apartment. When they reached the courtyard, Ayaru collapsed into coughing, clinging tightly to the dog's neck and crying out, "Don't leave me, Tomuk." Soon, firefighters arrived and brought the surrounding homes to safety. Marat rushed home, and when he saw his daughter safe, tears rolled down his face. He hugged Tomuk tightly and whispered, "You saved my family." From that day on, Tomuk became an honored guest at the local fire station. He visited kindergartens, where children gathered around him. Ayaru, for the first time ever, stood in front of her class and gave a presentation about Tomuk. She shared her journey, her healing, and the bond she had formed with the dog. Marat realized something powerful. Animals are far more intelligent, intuitive, and compassionate than we often believe. They may not speak our language, but they always find a way to listen with their hearts. Tomuk was now aging, but in one family's heart, he had become a hero forever. The final entry in Ayaru's journal read, "Farewell to Tomuk." Time passed. Tomuk grew old. The fences he used to jump over with ease now seemed too tall. After long walks, he would tire quickly and rest for hours. Meanwhile, Ayaru was growing up. Now 12, she was writing her first essays, doing well in school, and making new friends. But every day when she came home, the first thing she did was hug Tomuk and whisper her secrets to him. One morning, Tomuk didn't open his eyes. He didn't come to Ayaru's bed like he used to. Sensing something was wrong, she stepped into the hallway and found him lying still on his blanket. His eyes were closed, and his body peaceful. Beside him was his favorite soft toy and the red ribbon Ayaru had tied around his neck. Quietly, she sat down next to him and placed her hand gently on his fur. "Tomuk, can you hear me? I wanted to play with you today," she whispered. Marat heard his daughter's soft voice from the hallway and came out. He saw the scene and stood silently for a moment. There were no words. The three of them had always been together. Now, only two remained. That evening, Marat held Ayaru in his arms and said softly, "Some friends stay in our hearts forever. Tomuk lives in yours now, Ayaru." Not long after, they built a small memorial for Tomuk in the backyard. Ayaru planted flowers and drew his picture on the smooth stone. Every day she visited and shared her stories with him. She didn't speak as much as before, but now she had learned to speak with her heart. One day, while returning from school, Ayaru found her mother's old journal. In it, she read, Ayaru smiled, placed the journal beside Tomuk's memorial, and softly said, "Your wish came true, Mom. I received it through Tomuk." Marat, a man of few emotions, realized that day he was not only hearing his daughter with his ears, but with his heart. Though Tomuk's absence left an empty space, it also made room for a deeper bond between father and daughter. Soon, Ayaru wrote an essay titled "The Silent Hero." It won first place in a regional competition. Her teachers and classmates cried when they heard it. It wasn't just a story about a dog, it was about a love that could change hearts. The final line of her essay read,